Where's my mark? Pretend to be a Kardashian.
Brent IV, take 1.
Just run a hand quickly down the front of you. Do that. Do it.
Ricky Martin Oops.
What kind of language am I allowed to use? Because I'm a bit of a potty mouth, but not like over the top.
So you want me to read the questions out loud? Okay.
What happened to your legs? Oh, I've never heard that before.
I reckon they're pretty sweet as a, from my perspective anyway.
I was eaten by a shark.
Well, I was born with cerebral palsy. Yeah.
And this is when we break out the fancy Latin words. I have what's known as spastic quadriplegia.
I can't remember the entire description, but it's something hemiplegia. It's quite technical.
Rather than having a stroke in a conventional sense, you have a brain injury before your skills develop.
So it basically just affects the left side of my body from top to bottom. Yeah.
My one's a bit like dodgy Wi-Fi. What I want to do is in my brain, but by the time the message gets to my hand or my leg or to take a step, it's just faded.
I walk unassisted. It's not straight out of the walking manual, to be fair, but it's unassisted.
My right hand is a lot slower, and I can control it way less than my left. And I can't speak if you haven't realized that yet, so I just use my phone to talk to others.
I find that a lot of my thoughts, when I'm processing things, it takes a bit longer for it to kind of sink in.
And eating and drinking is also quite a challenge for me because I can't chew.
But then, in terms of everyday things, I'm used to it. Yeah.
So this is a photo of me in the incubator when I was born. I was, I think, about 2 pounds, like the size of a block of butter.
I was 3 months premature, and my mum went in with a sore back, came out with a baby.
Apparently I come out perfectly fine, was in an incubator, and there was a power cut, and the generator clicked across immediately, but there was an air bubble in my hose for a couple of seconds, and by all accounts that's what done the damage for the legs, but you know, it's all coming from the brain at the end of the day.
My mum was 18, labour was very long. They told her to keep pushing harder, that things would get better. She saw my heart rate decreasing on the monitor as she was pushing. She felt she was doing something wrong, so she pushed harder and harder, which every push was probably cutting my air supply. She has a lot of guilt about that, but I mean, she did the best she could with the knowledge she had.
Yes, I think my parents did feel guilty. My mum talks about it a bit more than my dad does. You know what, I should probably have a conversation with them and tell them, by the way, you don't need to feel guilty about that. There's nothing you could have done.
My parents were pretty terrified because they were given that I would have a 5% chance of survival. It was all touch and go for a while. Yeah, sort of a standard story, I guess. My skin was translucent, so they could see my heart and my organs beating, which is why I now have the nickname Bird. My mum and dad was given the opportunity to walk away and just leave me at the hospital and get on with their life. But thank God they were stronger than the doctors. They heard about CP because they got a leaflet in the mail saying, your child has cerebral palsy. There was no talking around it. And particularly with cerebral palsy, you're not diagnosed at birth.
My parents were told that I was just a lazy kid because I clearly wasn't walking.
I wasn't hitting the milestones that other babies would be hitting. And also, I was quite floppy.
One of my grandparents said, "Can I take him to the doctor? I think there's something wrong with the way he's moving."
And there were no resources back in those days. They had no Google, they had no support at all. And I actually think that was a good thing, because they didn't have any perceived notion of what I could be like.
And I think just over time they've learnt more about it and they've just embraced me and who I am, yeah.
How do you deal with the stares?
And we should emphasize here, it's stairs as in staring at you, not stairs as in walking up the stairs, because they're two different things.
If I retaliated to every person who looked at me too long, I'd be a really angry or sad.
People staring at you? Oh, that's just normal. I'm just so used to that. And I expect it as well, to be honest. I look at people with disabilities all the time. I look at them and I'm trying to figure out what it is.
I'll just smile at them and say, hello, how are you? And then sometimes I get the shocked reaction, wow, she can actually talk. Sometimes kids even get scared, I notice.
If it's with kids, I tend to lean down and encourage them to ask questions, because I think kids should be asking questions rather than being shuffled away by their parents.
I'm a kaiawhina or a teacher aide at Sunset Primary School in Rotorua. I am the first exposure that kids are getting to somebody with a disability. So I want them to be able to see that as normal and that people with disabilities are just like them.
You can get people that will say to you that they're fine with your disability and they actually know all about it, but then they treat you like you're made of glass, which drives you insane, by the way. So managing other people's emotions and feelings is totally normal for a disabled person, yeah.
Ooh, do people with cerebral palsy have lower intelligence?
Ooh, yeah. That's a goodie too, isn't it?
Stephen Hawking had something similar to cerebral palsy, and he believed that time travel was possible, which was stupid, but that was just him. I'm pretty sure I'm not that dumb.
Sometimes people say, did you have too much of a night out? Are you drunk? Because they hear the slurring in my speech and presume it's something to do with my intelligence. Or that I'm deaf, which is A, insulting to me, but also insulting to the deaf community.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a perception issue with bouncers thinking that you're drunk, or people on the street thinking you're drunk, and sometimes I am drunk, but I'm still responsible.
My job at the moment is making people drunk at the bar, and I can't even drink alcohol myself, so I'll always be the smart one at my bar.
The people that I've met with cerebral palsy that I know well, there's nothing wrong with their intelligence. In fact, some of them are super smart, and virtually all of them have gone to mainstream schools. I did.
This is the picture of when I first went to high school. I felt so grown up. I was born in Oud-Turnhout in Belgium, and life was pretty rough for a disabled guy like me. Like other parents didn't want a disabled guy like me in their kids' class. So when I was 7 years old, my parents thought, let's move to New Zealand, where I can have a better life, and then we just packed everything up and left.
I've actually won the Year 8 speech competition, which was quite eye-opening for, I suppose, everybody, because it was like, wow, like, she can actually do this.
My teachers love me. If anything, they bent over backwards to accommodate me a bit more than they should. Like, I should have probably got racked over the knuckles for not doing my maths homework a couple of times.
I feel like sometimes I could get away with being a bit of a cheeky shit and, stirring things up. Like I could tread the line a little bit.
I didn't get special treatment at all at school. I was expected to pass my exams like everybody else, and at home, if I didn't pass, I got into trouble. So I got told off.
When I started school, Mum said, over the next year, you're going to be the last one picked for the sports team. People are going to imitate your walking. Some people are going to try and push you over. And I remember saying to my mum, Do I tell the teacher? And she said, no, that won't do you any good, son. She goes, that's what you've got brothers for. And yeah, great piece of advice. That actually helped me understand why certain things happened, whether it was fair or not, didn't come into it.
At college, I really struggled with making friends to the extent that I would eat my lunch in the toilet, because then no one would see me eating alone.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was bullied, but, you know, school was relatively tough.
I was just ignored. And that probably, I think it was worse, because you feel like you're invisible. You don't even exist.
When I was younger, there was a bit of bullying, but then over time, the kids got to know me more and to realise that I was just like them and that they could be my friend.
People's perception on me definitely changed when I started talking with my electronic typewriter. I even got myself a girlfriend around that time, and I felt more free to socialize to people and made people realize there's more to me than a handsome special guy.
I went to my school reunion a couple of years ago. I had so many apologies from people, it was hilarious. I felt like I was a priest taking confessional.
This photo is one of my graduation photos from October last year. After 6 years, I finally graduated.
I'm very proud that I was able to show the world that I am intelligent and that I can do something pretty ballsy like a degree.
It hurt me that I wasn't really looked at for like the head girl positions, but then when I got to university, I was put on boards and got more involved. It helped me grow in confidence.
Can you shower yourself? Yeah.
Yep, I can do that.
What a weird thing to ask.
Of course I can shower myself. It's not like I get glitched out from the water because I talk like a robot.
I personally could shower on my own, but it's not safe for me to stand up independently in the shower.
Sometimes I have difficulty with shoes. That's the one thing that I need help with. You know, most people takes 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds to put shoes on. It takes me longer.
Independence is really, really important. But what independence is for me, as opposed to somebody else, even with a disability or non-disabled, will look very, very different.
The kupu Māori for CP is Hōkai Nukurangi, and it speaks to people with CP chartering their own course and achieving their goals in a way that fits them.
And the metaphor is around whether you go through the earth or the sky or the sea. You may fly, you may swim, you may crawl, but you still have the right to achieve what's important to you.
When I was young, I didn't engage in any disability supports. I wanted nothing to do with disability. As I got older, I realised that I could live life more successfully if I embraced things like home help, and that gave me more time in my day to actually do cool stuff.
This is me and my carer Jordy. He's been one of the best. Even though he's from the Netherlands, he has such a weird accent.
I'm one of those people that, you know, I would rather have that done by my parent or my wife or something. Some people with disabilities are the complete opposite.
Yeah, no, support people, or as I call them, PAs, personal assistant. What I say is I'm dependent on someone to be independent, and I hate that. I make it very clear from the start that I am their boss.
It would be cool to live by myself, but I have epilepsy, so I always need someone that I can trust to come help me if a seizure happens at night. Maybe one day I'll get a girlfriend and I would trust her, and then I'll probably would want to move into our own house and start a family.
Can people with CP get a job? Yes. Yes, they can.
All my siblings worked, my parents worked, and the expectation always was that I would work. But still, because I don't pass as normal, there's that sort of lowered expectation of, oh, isn't it nice that you work? No, it's not.
It was suggested that I probably couldn't do jobs that involve lots of communicating, which is a bit ironic given what I'm doing now.
I had ambitions to be a sports journalist because I love sports so much. In terms of rugby league. But I think over time I came to realise that probably wouldn't work because I would have to have a support person with me all the time because I can't drive.
Getting my foot in the door is probably where I've encountered the most issue because, you know, you rock up to a job interview and people see how you walk and then they just get this preconceived notion of, oh, your skill set is this high.
It's difficult to get what I call the teenage job.
Yeah. If I played the music, it would be from the movie Mission Impossible.
You're in that constant state of, I need work experience to get on the employment ladder, but nobody wants me holding their trays of food at a restaurant or working at Macca's.
I thought I'm in the adult world now. No one will worry about the fact that I'm different or the way that I walk, but I tell what they sure as hell do.
It's very easy to be overlooked for somebody who's an easier option.
And even some of the monetary supports that get put in place for us to get work, a lot of them go away after 6 months. Well, if your disability doesn't go away, your support shouldn't go away.
Working at a bar has been quite an experience. Some bartenders are fun, but others don't expect to work with a guy with cerebral palsy, so they don't know how to treat me. And the customers are quite the same.
My 20s was a lot of being angry at the world and doing everything that people said that I couldn't do. I went and worked on a makeup counter for a bit because some dude I went on a date with said, oh, you're not very pretty and everything. And when I got older, I had to make peace with my disability, and then that's enabled me to better serve the community and also feel better here.
I need to stand up. I need to metaphorically stand up and say, look, these are the skills that I bring. These are the adaptations that I may need. But if we can meet in the middle, then I will produce some good work for you as somebody with a disability, not somebody who's hiding their disability.
The job thing for me with disabled people is a little bit of a hot button because I think people undersell themselves a little. I totally did that. I wonder whether unconsciously I thought about being in a studio away from people playing music was a great way to hide away from the world.
There's a lot of debate amongst our community about if and how you disclose having a disability, marketing it as a strength rather than a weakness.
I don't disclose that I have cerebral palsy, and I don't think that you should have to. I think that, you know, people should be employed based on the merit and the experience that they bring.
I say the complete opposite. Yes, you do. Because let's just say you've got somebody who's interviewing you for a job, they've got a great attitude to disability, and you haven't told them about it, and then I come walking into their office and sit down, the first thing they're going to say is, what the hell else is this guy hiding from me? You've lost that opportunity.
But then, of course, you start to internalise the ableism and the fact that you think, oh, because I have a disability, I have to not make a mistake. But of course, everyone makes mistakes. I have the right to occupy the space like every other worker, including making mistakes.
How do you cope with mental health?
Well, arguably, how does anyone cope with mental health with Donald Trump in the White House? Drugs. Drugs are good. When I'm talking about drugs, I mean prescription drugs.
So I like to play a little bit of golf. I often joke that my golf handicap is a little bit worse than my actual physical handicap. It needs a bit of work.
I work with a trainer. I call him Jesus because he got me walking. And I think that's pretty freaking awesome. In that hour a day, I don't feel disabled. I'm not anything other than Stacey. My anxiety has nothing to do with my CP. I just come from a family of professional anxiety champions, so it's all through the family line.
Like, it just doesn't shut down my brain. So it's like, oh, come on, let me rest.
I have relatively good sleep hygiene. I have a boatload of crappy TV that I watch.
I end up talking to people about it or listening to music.
And I make sure that I give my brain space to worry.
I normally don't allow too many things to get to my head, so I wouldn't tell you that it's something I struggle with.
Next card, okay.
How do you feel when people say you are an inspiration? That's how the best way to insult me. You're so inspirational. Like, why am I allowed to do hand gestures? They want to have a Coldplay soundtrack in the background of like, I overcame my disability. I can't be an inspiration to anyone for just living.
And if someone finds it inspiring that I'm at the mall in a food court with my kids, well, that's on them, that their bar is quite low for what inspires them, I guess.
Have I been told that? Yeah, quite often. You know, and it's nothing to be big-headed about because I could walk out of here and fall flat on my face, which is liable to happen.
I get told I'm an inspiration quite a lot by people, and that makes me feel very good because that's what I'm trying to do with my personality and sense of humor.
I always get butterflies before getting on stage. I started doing kapahaka when I was in primary school. I was really proud because you don't see a lot of kids with cerebral palsy getting involved in things like that.
This is the first time I got the chance to do stand-up comedy in front of an audience. I was nervous at first, thinking what if people don't get my jokes or think I'm weird using a phone to talk, but then when I started, I straight away got laugh after laugh.
I think if I can be an inspiration to somebody, then that helps them as well.
Thank you very much, Brent.
Yes. Oh, cool.
Ka pai.